Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
Hey, little skeletons. I'm Gina.
And I'm Amber.
And this is Weird True Crime.
A tiny little crotch goblin gave me her germs, and now I sound like I'm channeling my inner Phoebe Buffet. So apologies for that, and bear with me. This is why we're bringing you another dose of dumb criminals today. I have threatened to run away so many times this week for so many reasons. I definitely need some laughs today.
I can attest to that. I think you've texted me. I can't even count how many times at this point, being like, I'm going to run away.
I'm out of here.
I'm done with this. And now you're sick to top it off. So the joys of motherhood, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, on my end, I'm finally getting over being sick, so I guess it makes sense that it's your turn. And school is officially out for summer. My kids are already fighting all day long, and it's hot as balls outside. So humor is oh so very needed and welcomed. I do admit that it was really hard to drag myself away from the case that we're working on right now and focus on something a little lighthearted, but I do think that my emotional stability is thanking me right now for the break.
Same here. You know, we'll probably need to start a tally of how many times we say it, but seriously, comedy is cheaper than therapy.
Yeah, definitely. And that's going on a t-shirt at some point in the future.
For
sure. It's been decided. Yes. Before we jump into today's humorous tales, here is this week's riddle. Poor people have it, rich people need it. If you eat it, you die. What is it? Stay tuned to the end to find out the answer.
Romantic relationships are challenging. Emotions run high, and more often than not, at least one person has some trauma or baggage. A 29-year-old man in Argentina recently learned this the hard way 6 months into his relationship. His girlfriend, who has a bit of a jealous streak, got upset when she saw him on WhatsApp and reacted by uninstalling the app and smashing his phone. She then locked him in a room so he couldn't leave and cheat on her.
This definitely sounds like the healthy beginnings to any long-lasting relationship.
Absolutely. This wasn't just a short stint in room jail either. His girlfriend kept him locked up for 3 days until he somehow managed to steal her phone and text a friend.
Phone a friend.
When police arrived on the scene, they could hear the man's desperate yells for help and arrested the 30-year-old woman. Once he was finally free, the man, who wanted to remain anonymous for obvious reasons, told the officers she had been jealous since the beginning of their relationship. She even went so far as to give him a curfew when he went out with friends and threatened to come find him if he didn't return home on time. We don't have any background information to help clarify the situation because, quite honestly, I have so many questions.
Yeah, same.
I'd be curious to know if he gave her reasons to be jealous or concerned about him cheating, or if she just had unresolved trust issues. Either way, the woman was arrested and charged with illegal deprivation of liberty.
That's a new one.
I paused for a second at that one.
You know, I like that.
Let's just hope they went their separate ways after that incident. You know what? I'm going to use that with threatening people.
Illegal deprivation of liberty. I will deprive you of your liberty.
Yes, I will commit deprivation of your liberty if you don't fuck off.
I mean, it sounds like a great threat for your kids, honestly.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't use the fuck off to the kids, but yeah,
no,
exactly.
definitely the other part. Either way, like this relationship sounds like 6 months in and this is what you're dealing with. Like, oh.
And how did he literally get locked in a room with no way out? Like, man,
Was there a lock on the outside? Did she like block it? Did she put furniture? I don't know.
Were there no windows? Were there
Maybe
no neighbors that he
open?
could like bang and yell? And I don't know. So many questions.
I don't know. I don't know. I just really hope that he didn't go back to her after that, and that I don't. Nope.
But is it a testament to like him, because instead of choosing violence and like knocking her ass out whenever she came in, he
just took her phone and
he
dealt with it in
wrote it out.
an adult way.
Mhm.
Oh man. Okay.
We could all take a page out of his book.
I know, right? Not that I have any personal experience with this, but my assumption is that if you're involved in a burglary of any kind, you'd probably want to keep your identity hidden, right? Like, you don't want people to know who you are if you're trying to rob them.
I mean, unless you're like freaking Robin Hood, I'd go with the assumption is that's the norm for sure.
Right. That's what normal people would think. Yeah. Okay. Well, back in November of 2017, a man named Eric Rivers was out and about in Lawrenceville, Georgia, minding his own business when he was approached by a local news station and asked if he wanted to be interviewed about public transit. He took off his hoodie and hat and gave his full name to the reporter. Seems pretty normal at this point. But unfortunately for Rivers, police saw the news report and recognized him as a suspect in surveillance footage from a string of robberies.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, dumbass. It turns out that he was in the process of casing out a Chase bank to rob when he was approached for the interview. A bank manager told investigators that they saw Rivers walk up to the news van after leaving the building. Rivers had attempted 5 robberies in total, but was only successful in making off with cash in 2 of the incidents. After his arrest, the Gwinnett County Police Department offered advice to would-be criminals in a Facebook post that reads, quote, "When after having robbed several banks and you are at another bank casing the place for an additional robbery and are approached by a news crew in the parking lot, do not stop and agree to an interview with said news crew." End quote. It's like, if you have been actively robbing and casing banks, don't put your face on TV and give your full name for the world to see. Like, rule number 0.
At least the police had some fun with it. And
totally. He deserved it. It's fine. Like, don't be that stupid. Just be smarter, criminals. But they're not, and that's why we're here. Yay for us.
Thankfully, they're not, so we can do this. There's a running trend with petty criminals posting their escapades on social media or giving their personal information to the people they're stealing from. I'm not sure why they think it's a good idea to brag about their illegal activity on a global scale or give away their identity. But I'm glad they do, because then we can make fun of them for it, just like we said. It's amazing.
Exactly.
40-year-old Matthew Crowder from Albuquerque, New Mexico, did both when he stole from a consignment shop back in 2016. Before stealing from the shop, he stopped at the checkout counter to flirt with the clerk and give her a business card with all of his personal information on it.
What a dummy. Like, you're there to steal and you're going to stop and flirt with the clerk and give her all of your information. That's a really good way to get a woman. That's what she wants to see.
Oh, for sure. Men, that's what the ladies want. You heard it here. That's not all this smooth criminal did, though. Only hours after he stole from the shop, he posted on Facebook bragging about the raid and his stolen necklace. Apparently, he had a habit of posting about his sticky-fingered escapades and had outstanding warrants for shoplifting and theft in 3 different jurisdictions in New Mexico. After finally being arrested and charged a 4th time, Officer Simon Drobick told a local news station, quote, "We didn't have to call Columbo on this one because the guy left his name with his business card after he shoplifted, trying to pick up on the girl he shoplifted from. This guy's a goofball. I can't believe it. Well, I guess I can believe it. These guys are dumb." End quote. I literally couldn't have said it better myself.
No. That one. Oh, man. That one gets me. It's just like, really? Really, dude? I wouldn't worry about picking up the chick when you're trying to steal. Or like one thing at a time.
Just prioritize,
Yeah. Maybe don't let the girl in on your illegal activity. I don't know. Whatever.
Or pick up the girl and choose a different place. I don't know. Not that I'm
There you
condoning any kind of theft or robbery or anything, but
Just don't steal. It's fine.
yeah. Use that brain power for good.
That's not possible for these people. Okay. It's not.
Clearly.
This one really cracked me up. There's a dad joke in that sentence that you'll catch on to in a minute.
Oh, God.
Yeah. See, back in 2016, an officer pulled over a woman named Elizabeth Johnson during a routine traffic stop in Ohio. But that's really the only routine thing that happened during this stop. Seconds after she pulled over, the officer saw Miss Johnson quickly reach her hands up under her shirt. When the officer approached the vehicle and ordered her to come out, she locked her doors, began yelling, and refused to cooperate. He eventually convinced her to leave the car, but she continued to yell and throw a fit, telling the officer she wasn't carrying anything illegal. At this point, she yells, "Fine, you want to see what I have?"
"Methinks the lady doth protest too much."
I mean, I'm sure the fine officer did indeed want to see what Miss Johnson was hiding, because, I mean, that's his job. But I doubt he expected her to lift up her shirt and bra, giving him the whole show. Yeah.
Just criminals gone wild.
Basically, yeah. Her girly bits weren't the only thing on display, though, because a crack pipe fell out of her bra and onto the pavement. Once his initial shock wore off, the officer asked Miss Johnson to cover up, because duh, seized the pipe and put it in his patrol car. She was arrested for possession of cocaine, obstructing official business, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Why go through all the trouble of hiding it in your bra if you're just going to show off all the goods anyway? Haven't we told you before that drugs are bad?
Drugs are bad.
Because drugs are bad, okay?
I think that we've established by now that neither one of us has any experience with criminal activity beyond what we talk about or write about here. That being said, I can confidently tell you that if I ever got so desperate to pay rent one month or something, and I decided to rob a house, something like this would definitely happen to me.
I mean, knowing your luck, I'm very curious to see what this story is all about.
So just last year, a 24-year-old man decided that he was going to pillage a house in Silver Spring, Maryland on January 8th. So it's cold outside.
Yeah.
Normal points of entry to a house are typically the front or back door, maybe even a window, right?
Those are the usual choices.
Well, this particular pilferer decided he would take a page out of Santa's book and try to gain entry to the home via the chimney.
Oh.
Look, we all know that the fat man is able to get through those chimneys due to his holly jolly attitude and magical abilities, because there's no way he'd fit otherwise.
A positive attitude can get you really far.
Even if you're not the size of Saint Nick himself, chances are you're not going to fit down any chimney.
No.
Anyway, the unsuspecting homeowners were awoken around 3 a.m. by a pounding or knocking sound coming from inside their house, and they called the authorities. The police arrived and conducted a search of the home, but didn't locate anyone. 2.5 hours later, the police received a second phone call from the same family reporting the same noises. The Montgomery County Police Department said that the call was originally dispatched as a residential burglary call in progress, and when they arrived on the scene, they, quote, heard a human voice coming from inside the fireplace in the chimney, end quote.
I don't know if I would be amused or terrified
Probably a
in
bit
that
of both.
situation. Yeah.
It took 12 firefighters over an hour and a half to remove the man from the chimney because they literally had to remove the wall and bricks around the chimney to get to him. The picture that stuck out to me most from this story is one that shows the destruction that had to be done. And if you look closely, you can still see the man's feet in the small hole in the wall they had created. He almost made it, but still had about 5 to 6 feet to go. When he was finally freed from his soot-filled solitary confinement, he was transported to the hospital to be treated for minor injuries, and authorities applied for 4th-degree burglary charges. Looking at the photos of the destruction, if I had been the homeowner, I honestly think I would have rathered the man complete the burglary and make off with my TV rather than dealing with the aftermath and cleanup and repair bill from his dumbassery. Check out the pictures and let me know if you agree.
Honestly, I would be so pissed. And in a situation like that, you'd be like, are you going to pay for these repairs? But we can't, or he wouldn't be trying to wiggle his ass down your chimney to steal your shit.
Exactly.
Wow. Why do people think that chimneys are wide enough to fit down?
Movies.
Also, Santa's not real. He's not really going down the chimney. That's not a real thing. No one can actually do that, okay? Maybe look at a diagram of what a chimney looks like before deciding that that's how you're going to, whatever.
Let's hope no one's kids walked by and heard you say that.
Nobody's home right now. Also, yeah, sorry guys, don't listen to that with your kids. Also, don't listen to this with your kids, but
They can't always keep them out of the room,
That's true. That's what headphones are for, Just saying.
Jeez, Gina.
Okay. Look, I'm a little saucy, okay?
Clearly.
Saucy today.
Instead of being like, all right, maybe I shouldn't say something like that. Why don't you change how you listen to me?
You know what?
Damn.
We talk about very gruesome murders and stuff.
But
it's true. But saying Santa isn't real is pretty tame in comparison to some of the other things we discuss.
God.
We all know what it's like to be so hungry you would do just about anything to get your hands on something edible. I've scarfed down half-eaten kid snacks more times than I want to admit. And Amber, I know you have too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I don't think we'd ever be hangry enough to do a B&E for ham legs. Maybe a pastry, though.
Well, once a month, I might be inclined to violence if someone comes between me and some chocolate, but yeah, probably not breaking and entering, though, still.
Yeah, no. Well, in Spain in February of 2016, which 2016 is a really popular year in this episode, I don't know why, Domingo Infante arrived at his tapas bar, which sounds delicious, to open for the day. The last thing he expected to see was a busted down door, a missing TV and cash till, along with 7 legs of cured Iberico ham that had been hanging above the bar. Now, these aren't just any ham legs. I know, I was like, what's the big deal? But Iberico ham legs weigh between 10 and 11 pounds, and were worth about $130 each in 2016. Today, they'd be worth closer to $260 each.
Jeez.
Domingo, yeah, that's an expensive piece of ham. Domingo was calling a locksmith and talking to police when his wife and mother-in-law noticed a trail of fat on the road outside. The two citizen detectives followed the fat trail to a house located behind the restaurant.
You know, this case reminds me of the dumb criminal we talked about who stole the cash registers and left a trail of paper tape all the way to his apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Except messier.
And smellier.
Ugh.
Yeah, gross. Anyway, the duo made a second call to the cops, who rushed to get a search warrant and enter the property after the owners refused to open the door. Once inside, officers found 2 of the ham legs, along with the empty cash till and the TV. The culprits, who still lived with their parents, didn't even try to hide their trail. Apparently, there was fat all over the pavement, stairs, and even the front door of the property where the meat was found. The article stated that the other 5 legs were missing from the scene and probably with the other ham burgling accomplices. Domingo, the owner of the tapas bar, had a great sense of humor about the situation, telling reporters, quote, "We didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It's like something out of a silly film," end quote. It really is. If you're going to steal something, don't leave a trail. Why?
I can't get this look off my face either. Ugh, fat.
It's gross. It's
fat
just gross.
everywhere.
Just fat everywhere. Doesn't
Ugh.
sound appetizing at all.
No, any
No.
semblance of an appetite I had is now gone, thank you.
Also, my first thought was like, so once they dragged it everywhere, did they still like eat it? Because now it's been all over the ground. It's gross. That's not sanitary.
They're clearly not making the best life decisions, so I wouldn't put it past them.
That's true. I really shouldn't question anything at this point.
We'll learn one of these days.
I never will. I'm always going to question.
Fair enough. At least you admit it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need something from the store, but that store might be closed.
Mhm.
Though an inconvenience, most people would wait until the store was open to go buy their needed items. 21-year-old Lance Kurtz is not most people. He decided to break into a closed gas station in Florida in February 2023 because his needs were too great to be imposed upon by things like locked doors. His intentions weren't all bad, though. He left his debit card on the counter because he wanted to come back and pay later when they were open.
I have so many questions about what happened to this man's brain cells.
You gotta admit, he at least gets some points for wanting to pay for the items.
Yeah.
But, I mean, breaking and entering is still a crime, last time I checked.
It definitely is, yes.
Police were alerted when the alarm went off, and security cameras show him taking things before walking out the front door. Honestly, the breaking and entering, stolen goods, and leaving his card on the counter isn't even the best part of this story.
How could this possibly get any better, really?
Well, when the police went looking for our boy, they found him walking along the side of the road because his car had caught on fire. Seriously, you can't make this shit up.
Oh my God.
Truth be told, it doesn't sound like the guy had bad intentions, really.
Oh.
Maybe he's not the brightest crayon in the box and didn't realize he'd still get arrested for breaking and entering, even if he came back to pay later for the items he stole.
Maybe.
And on top of everything else, his car catches on fire. It almost makes me feel bad for the guy. Almost.
I really want to understand more about what was going on in that dude's life at the time.
It's like he had some karma raining down on his parade, it seems.
It's like, but I wanted to pay for it. Keeping with the antics in Florida, we're heading to Clearwater next. Oddly enough, another gas station is involved in this one as well. I'll admit, I am a fan of the cheapy scratch-off tickets. There's minimal risk involved, but I still get the thrill of the possibility of winning more money than I had 10 minutes before. Fun fact, when I was a kid, my mom bought scratch-off tickets like on their anniversary one year, and I scratched it off and won $400. It was awesome because I won money, but it was theirs, so I really didn't get to enjoy it at all, but it was still a cool experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
My little story. Yeah.
I'm a fan myself. There's a cheap like bingo style one that we do on occasion in my house. I think we won like $10 or something once.
It's just like the serotonin rush or whatever you get from just like, I don't know. It's like a quick, exciting.
It's a quick
feeling.
hit.
Exactly. According to Clearwater Police, 27-year-old Herbert McClellan, can I just say I love the name Herbert, by the way?
Right. Let's make that. Let's bring that name back.
Let's bring Herbert back, please. Thank you.
A norm.
Okay, I agree. I like it. Well, he waltzed into a Speedway convenience store around 2 a.m. back in August of 2020 and seized his moment to snag some scratch-offs while the clerk was distracted doing something else. 13 scratch-off tickets to be exact, worth just over $100. That's a lot of scratch-off goodness fun time to be had. It really is. That'll get you far. Herbert managed to slip out of the store and apparently couldn't wait to see if any of the tickets were going to be winners. Lo and behold, one of them was. Herbert won a whopping $30 off of one of the swiped scratch-offs.
Well, look, $30 is $30, especially in this day and age. Although they were stolen, so I don't really see that being the end of this.
Of course not. A few hours later, Herbert decided to go cash in his winning lottery ticket at the same damn store that he stole it from.
God, why?
Yeah, idiot. When he showed back up to claim his winnings, the store workers contacted the police and they were able to arrive and arrest him. He was charged with petite theft, which I also really love that phrase, dealing with stolen property, and driving with a suspended license for the second time. The police department said in their Facebook post detailing the whole thing, quote, "It's safe to say it was not his lucky day," end quote.
Really enjoy the police departments getting all cheeky with their posts lately.
I know. I appreciate it. Let's make fun of the dumbness, bring attention to it, and let people know, like, you're really probably not going to get away with doing stupid shit like that, but good luck.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
So last What the Fuck Wednesday, we went down the rabbit hole of Walmart wackiness and even mentioned good old Target in the process.
We did.
A Florida man got dubbed Dumb Criminal of the Week for his antics in Target back in April. Well, not necessarily in Target, more like in front of.
Well, you don't anticipate Target ending up on lists like these. I can only imagine what's coming. Is it meth, Pringles cans, nudities, elderly fights in the parking lot? Like, what's going to happen?
Our dumbass in question, Patrick Vander Biden Miller, that's a mouthful.
It's a fancy name.
Was spotted by employees walking past the cash registers and out the front door of the store holding a Razor scooter in the box. I had to look it up myself because I'm not well versed in the world of scooters, but Razor scooters range in price anywhere from like $30 to over $800, according to Target's website.
Dang.
The scooter our man in question strutted out of the store with was worth about $540. So definitely was not your low-tier man-powered scooter.
Okay, he managed to make it outside of the store, but I'll assume that he didn't make it off scot-free since he ended up on our list. Was he caught waiting for his getaway car or what?
I guess you could say that in a way.
Oh no.
Officials say instead of fleeing the scene with his loot, the man stopped on the sidewalk in front of the store to start putting the damn thing together. Granted, the store probably had him on video, and the chances of him being tracked down later were there, but he could have at least made it a little difficult. The dude literally waited in front of the store with the giant piece of equipment he stole to put it together. A responding deputy caught the man before he could finish and gave him a ride to jail. Sheriff Rick Staley said on Facebook, quote, "This dumb criminal of the week must have thought he was in another state or city where it's okay to walk in a store and steal what you want and not face any consequences. He didn't get to ride his Razor, but he did get a free ride to the Green Roof Inn in the backseat of a patrol car." End quote.
Aww.
I guess Patrick thought it would have made a better getaway vehicle instead of walking down the street carrying the giant box. I don't know. He was later charged with petite theft and possession of drug paraphernalia. No surprise there, to be honest.
Of course, there are some sort of drugs involved in this scenario.
Yeah.
Also, did he walk to the Target, steal it because he needed like some sort of transportation, and then was like, I'm just going to put this together here before I leave? I don't.
The whole beginning part of it makes you question, like, why? And then the ending where he was, charged with drug paraphernalia. Oh, yeah, drugs make you do stupid things, so.
I love how the Target workers just watched him walk out of the store with this giant box. Like, what does that dude think he's doing?
It was a big box, like the pictures.
Yeah.
You're not going to get
They're
very
not
far
small.
with that.
No, we've gotten like our kids' Razor scooters they don't use. And I mean, they're not like that expensive because kids, but like they're not small boxes at all. So, wow, I just, if you're going to steal stuff, at least like wait to use it until you're away from the place you stole it from. It's kind of like the lottery tickets. Like, don't scratch them off and then go back to the same, whatever.
Maybe we need to stop giving, like, criminal advice.
I know.
Just don't do it.
Do what you want, criminals. Keep it up.
That's not the direction I was going, but sure, we'll leave it with that.
Who are we to judge? We've never been in this situation. Speaking of stolen modes of transportation, that leads us to our final dumb criminal of the day. I think this one will make the top of the list of vehicles I wouldn't consider stealing for any reason.
That's ominous. Immediately, the Wienermobile pops into my head again. That would be a bad choice to steal for obvious reasons.
Yeah, that's pretty giant and obvious. If you steal the Wienermobile, it wouldn't. Also, I'd be afraid to drive that thing. But anyway, there's no wieners this time, okay? On January 21st of 2023, 23-year-old Dion Howard decided to steal a gray 2012 Chrysler Town & Country van belonging to Collins and Stone Funeral Home in Rockford, Illinois. The vehicle had allegedly been sitting outside the funeral home, running and unattended. Dion headed towards Chicago, and the van was recovered the following day. But much to everyone's surprise, it was empty.
Oh, hell. Was it not supposed to be empty?
Yeah, the van had originally contained the body of 47-year-old Curtis Brown, who had suddenly passed away from a heart attack 3 days prior. Needless to say that his family had been very frustrated to learn that his body had been missing, especially since his mother wasn't made aware of that information until a few days later when she read the news online that there was a body missing from the funeral home that she had left her son.
Oof.
I can't imagine. Thankfully, Mr. Brown's body was located in Chicago as well, about 2 miles away from where the van had been found. It wasn't until March before Howard was finally arrested after a traffic stop. According to the Brown County Sheriff's Office, Howard refused to identify himself to the police and was uncooperative. Surprise, surprise. He was finally identified once he was brought to jail.
At least it wasn't a hearse, but it was still idling outside of a funeral home. If you're going to steal a car, that's a really big red flag in my book.
Mm-hmm.
Or just don't steal cars and you won't have to worry about any of that, kids. Although, truth be told, I legit would drive a hearse around. Imagine the cargo space. So much room for all the tiny human things necessary.
I mean, honestly, it's also pretty cool when you see those old hearses being driven around. Like, I would get into that. But yeah, this guy's dumb. It's like you see an idling van outside of a funeral home and you're not going to question that before you just jump in and drive away. I hope that guy haunts him. I really do. Like, you fucked with me. Well, it's on my way. Like, I'm just trying to mind my business in the back of this van and you dump me on the side of the road. I'm haunting your ass forever.
Yeah, no, 100% agree.
You steal my body, I am haunting you. You're stuck with me forever.
Okay. I mean, if that doesn't qualify for a lifetime haunting, I don't know what does.
Nothing. That concludes this week's journey through the dumbass minds of criminals.
Ready for that riddle again? Here it is one more time. Poor people have it. Rich people need it. If you eat it, you die. What is it? The answer? Nothing. I mean, poor people have nothing. Rich people need nothing. And eating nothing definitely wouldn't be conducive to living. Did you figure it out?
Not gonna lie, I was completely clueless and had no idea where that one was going. You know who wasn't clueless, though? The listener who left us the sweet review on Apple Podcasts. A listener by the name of JKMH-0572 wrote, quote, I'm subscribed to so many true crime podcasts. None like this, though. It's very difficult to find a crimey podcast with a good sense of humor. Congratulations on doing such a great job. End quote.
Yay.
I know. This review honestly gave me the warm fuzzies when I first read it. So thank you so much for the kind words. It really means so much to us. If you want to be like our awesome listener friend, write us a review on your podcast app and get a shout out on a future episode. Can't leave a written review? Email it to us at weirdtruecrime@gmail.com. You can also send over your listener stories. We're starting a collection and can't wait to share them.
We can also be found on Instagram and TikTok at Weird True Crime, along with our website, weirdtruecrime.com, where you can listen to all the episodes and read scripts, if that's your thing. We are covering a massive case next week, so subscribe and rest assured you won't miss it when it drops. Trust us, it's a doozy.
Yeah. So until next time, stay safe.
And make good choices. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The two citizen detectives followed the fact trail to a... God, I just choked on my own spit. Okay.
At least it wasn't gum stuff.
Yay, snot, gum stuff. That's not what I heard.
Oh, Christ on a cracker, Gina. It's too early for that shit.
Sorry. Okay.